Hi and Assalamualaikum to our beloved panels. We are from Bachelor of Environmental Administration, and today's presentation is about a study of e-waste management awareness among students of UiTM SEREMBAN 3. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Syahrul Eidham bin MOHAMED NAZREE, student ID 2019-853358. And my partner is Muhammad AIZUL bin AMIR, student ID of 2019-853684. I would like to start with the contents of this study, which consists of the research background, problem statement, research objectives, literature review and conceptual framework, data collection instrument, findings and discussion, and a conclusion. So let's get started with the research background. Through previous research of e-waste disposal awareness among Malaysian community by Hanifah Mahad et al. Point out some of the challenges to obtain a good e-waste management in Malaysia. At first, I would like to introduce what e-waste is. Electronic waste or e-waste production is one of the world's fastest rising solid waste sources and may have harmful effects on the environment, also health. Electronic waste is also known as WEEE in the bracket of waste electrical and electronic equipment. This high generation of e-waste is attributed to high consumer demand and decreased lifetime for growth of electrical and electronic equipment. The latest reported number for e-waste production was 232,000 metric tons just for 2014 in Malaysia. Malaysian community week's response to e-waste recycling is the biggest concern in Malaysia, cited by Ho and Karana in 2010. Therefore, with some references made by previous study, this study is purposely done in order to find the level of awareness among the e-waste management in Malaysia among a group of students.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ASWAD bin AMIR. So firstly, I would like to present about our problem statement in our research conducted. So basically, this research has been conducted to discuss about the awareness among students towards e-waste management in Malaysia. So due to current scenario where the use of technology is increased rapidly, is leading towards the increase of amount of e-waste. Based on the issue that has been occurred, we need to know how far the student community has exposed toward e-waste management regulation in Malaysia. For the issue analyzed, the production of electronic devices is too fast based on the increase in demand from time to time that can shortening the lifetime of that particular device. For example, there are too many smartphones has been produced from several companies and models such as Apple, Samsung, Oppo, Xiaomi, and etc. So rapidly changes in the use of electronic device can increase e-waste around the world, especially in our country. So the old device either being disposed or keep it without using it. So according to United Nations, they are recorded that 44.7 million tons of e-waste around the world in 2017. So e-waste is harmful towards the environment and human health because there is a chemical component in the e-waste that can damages the environment, also expose human towards chronic disease. For the proper e-waste management, e-waste need a special treatment for disposal and recycling process. So for the research objective and research question, we divide into several points, which we'll see 6 points of research objective and another 6 points for research question. So the first point for research objective is to identify the student knowledge onto e-waste management, then to determine students' acknowledgement onto government policies and regulation on e-waste management, to verify students' understanding on the effects of e-waste on environment, to determine students' intention on disposing unused electronic device properly, to identify the methods of e-waste disposal practices by students and according to the government policies, and lastly, to determine whether students are willingly send e-waste to the recycle center. For the research question, the first point is whether the student acquire sufficient knowledge into e-waste management, whether the government policies and regulation are well known among students, what are the effects of the hazardous components in e-waste towards environment and human health, whether the students having the intentions in disposing the unused electronic devices properly. Next is whether the methods of disposal of unwanted electronic device is according to the government policy. And lastly is, are the student willingly send unwanted electronic devices to the recycle center?
I would like to continue with the literature review. First, definition of awareness. Durish and Bellotti 1992 described awareness is described as perception of other practices within the structure of consciousness. Next, in the definition by Merriam-Webster, awareness giving the meaning of what are the knowledge and understanding in need for the something is happening or exists, so that person is being a quality or state of being aware. And lastly, Miracle 1994 stated that awareness is the objective and equates consciousness with the capacity to take choices that are forced to surpass a threshold of chance. Therefore, Henley's 1984 mentioned whereby an individual consciously sees, it has been concluded that a more objective measure of consciousness is required in order to differentiate between the subjective states of seeing and not seeing. So we would like to continue to the next point, which is the environment awareness. Abdul Fattah Hassan in 2001, in response of environment awareness, it cannot be as mastered as the human doesn't apply his knowledge in his life to determine the difference between right and wrong, no matter how far education a person has obtained. He assumed that acceptance is the essential feature of human nature. Because the principle itself is meaningless without the sense of gratefulness, and the sensation of respect without concept is blind. Next, the definition by Stark 1990, whereas other people have knowledge of the environment, they are still unable to convert awareness into dedication, but do have an unhealthy attitude towards it. And last for the literature review is the Knowledge, Attitudes and Practice, KAP under the Zahedi 2014. A knowledge, attitudes and practice survey is a representative sample of a particular society aimed at gathering information about what is understood, perceived and performed on a single issue. Ekman and Walker 2008 defined KAP studies are more affordable than other methods of social science to save resources since they are highly oriented and minimal. So that KAP studies are now a popular technique used for examining human behavior when an environmental issue impacts them. Hence, this research adopts the KAP model to explore of e-waste management. For the next slide is the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework of the study consists of the three independent variables, which are knowledge, attitudes, and practices. The dependent variable is e-waste management awareness. Based on the diagram, the pyramid shows the relationship and the interconnection of knowledge, attitude, and practices contributed to awareness that could encourage a good e-waste disposal behavior.
The next is about our research methodology. For research methodology, we are conducting an one-on-one interview by using the open-ended question in order to obtain complex and relevant answers. Besides, in order to choose out respondent, the purposive sampling was intervened during the study. Moreover, the KAP's model, which are knowledge, attitude and practices, has been used in determining students' level of awareness. The theme of questions was developed and divided into three, which are under knowledge, attitudes and practices. And finally, share suggestion and information were gathered from the interviewees. Next, I would like to discuss about our research finding. So basically, in this chapter is showing the result of interview session with the respondent that consisting with the questions that cover the three categories, which are knowledge, attitude and practices. So for the first is knowledge. This category is filled with the question related with the terms of knowledge to observe the level of knowledge by the respondents. So the results gained from the session is based on answers given by the respondent during interview session. Some of the respondents does not know and slightly know regarding the topic of e-waste. It can be seen through the examples of answers given by the respondents when they are being asked whether they have any idea about the topic, such as they don't know much about e-waste, they just accidentally read about e-waste on internet and not fully aware about the topic, Also, they don't know what e-waste is. Besides, the respondent will respond with several different answers when they been asked about the treatment for e-waste, such as they don't know that e-waste can affecting human health, or they only knew that e-waste can affecting the environment but not for human health. Even though they did not have enough knowledge about the topic, all of the respondents will agree that sorting e-waste is important toward improving waste management in Malaysia. Next is about the category of attitudes. The question consisted in this section is to observe the attitude among the respondent. This session is to measure the possibility of the respondent in managing their e-waste, either in the current time or in their future. Most of the respondent is sending their e-waste or broken electronic devices to the collector and confidently thinking that is the best action. For example, the answers given is, I think it is the best action can be done to manage an unserviceable device. Besides, we can obtain an income based on the price market of the device, or it's better to sell it rather than we throw it. So, all the respondents shows their interest to know more about the proper e-waste management in daily life. It can be seen when the answers given is like, I would like to learn more about proper e-waste management, or I'm willingly to use my social media platform to share and promote to another people regarding the proper e-waste management, or if there is an opportunity, I'm ready to spend my time and money to support and promote a proper e-waste management towards another people. So lastly, about the category of practices, this section is consisting with the question delivered to the respondents related with their practices in handling e-waste management. Each of the respondents have their own way on managing their e-waste. It can be seen through the answer given, such as selling my unusable electronic device into collector, keep my unusable device at home. So all the respondents are willing to bring their e-waste to the nearby e-waste drop-off points or recycling center to practice proper e-waste management. The answers given, such as I'm willing to bring my e-waste to the e-waste drop-off point or recycling center if there is a kind of facility near my house, or if I got an opportunity and time, I'm willing to do so. So few of the respondents state that they have a difficulty to access the facility, such as I'm willing to bring my e-waste to recycling center, but there is no such facility that provide that kind of services near my house. Some of the respondents do agree, and some of them disagree that government initiative towards e-waste awareness is sufficient. The answers, such as government initiative is good enough to promote an awareness regarding e-waste management, but the people just don't want to notice it. Then about the current initiative provided by the government is not enough to make the people notice about the issue. They should increase the effectiveness of the initiative. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
For the discussion part, it is interrelated with the research objective and our findings mentioned. The respondents' level of knowledge on e-waste is on a moderate to high level, whereby the respondent can be identifying the electronic and electrical devices and appliances being turned into a waste is so-called e-waste. However, the individual was unable to describe the special treatment needed for e-waste management. Next, students could identify the harmful effects of e-waste towards environment, as the components and chemical substances will lead into environmental problems. Some of the respondents practice a precautionary measures in avoiding the harmful impacts of e-waste. Moreover, the individual believe by storing e-waste is a rational thing to do before properly decide to dispose them. Majority of the respondents still remains their electronic and electrical devices such as smartphones and laptop until it will becoming malfunction or broken. Their financial status affects their attitude to update into a new technological devices. Thus, there is a positive findings onto the students' intention to spread awareness of proper e-waste management towards their peers and community. Next, students' willingness to send e-waste to recycle center is unseen, as there is a lack of access to the recycle facilities. The most logical thing for them to do is to sell the unneeded devices, and they were hoping that this was the most appropriate approach or action to do. Furthermore, the student availability in terms of enough time, space and money, and effort to undertake recycling activities may be characterized as poor. Besides, students are aware of the proper e-waste management according to the government policies. Some of the options mentioned are sending e-waste to a licensed e-waste recycler or collector, sell them and return it to electronic firms and drop-off location. Thus, students' method of disposal are compliant with government regulation. And lastly, students appear to have no intention of recycling or disposing of e-waste properly if those activities do not help in the absence of a guide to efficient e-waste management. Therefore, students will enjoy successful government policies and regulation on e-waste management, as they will have proper behavioral towards e-waste disposal and participate in the disposal schedule and activities. For the conclusions, the current findings of the study are expected to contribute to the current literature on students' level of awareness on e-waste management. Thus, the study suggests that UiTM Seremban 3 to develop methods for collecting and recording data on e-waste management in a more comprehensive manner. Yet, the study has several limitations. First, qualitative research is a perspective-based method of research. The responses given are not measured. Comparison can be made, and this can lead toward duplication. Next, the study conducted with an interview session whereby some of the chosen respondents refused to participate in the session. Finally, the interview session conducted occurring technical problems such as internet, connectivity and devices problems. The data collection will lead into error. Thus, the recommendation for further research will be on having a quantitative analysis to obtain a cross-reference data on level of e-waste management awareness of UiTM Seremban 3 students. The next proposal will be to improve findings validity by means of combining qualitative and quantitative techniques. For example, qualitative research might pursue quantitative research in order to explain the quantitative results. Thus, addressing on level of e-waste management awareness in Seremban 3 households would expand our evidence on the research problems. That's all from us. Thank you very much.